one mistake changed all of our lives. One stupid mistake.
You are about to be stunned and captivated as we unveil the most jaw-dropping and unforgettable moments ever witnessed within the hallowed walls of justice. Get ready for the ultimate compilation of the craziest courtroom moments of all time. Ryan Stone.
There is, I'm sure, a lot of conversations that take place that are personal conversations, but you don't feel are always going to be brought up.
Ryan Stone was sentenced to 160 years behind bars for orchestrating a terrifying crime spree across 3 counties, unleashing a tempestuous storm within the courtroom upon hearing his daunting sentence. Convicted of 3 audacious carjackings and a reckless high-speed chase, Stone abruptly rose to his feet, his eyes blazing with fury fixed upon the judge. In a brazen outburst, he hurled vitriolic accusations, branding the honorable figure before him as a corrupt liar and vehemently claiming to be ensnared in a diabolical web of deceit. Stone's impassioned protests grew louder as the officers approached to escort him away, echoing through the somber air of the courtroom. His desperate cries reverberated, proclaiming his innocence and decrying a wicked frame-up. Fate, however, had other plans for Stone. His turbulent outburst, captured on camera, swiftly found its way onto the unforgiving shores of the digital realm. Disseminated across the vast expanse of the internet, it sparked disbelief and bewilderment among countless viewers. Doubts emerged, questioning the boundaries of Stone's sanity and pondering whether he was mentally fit to stand trial. Stone's legal representative, amidst the tumult, sought to quell the storm of speculation. Defending his client's visceral eruption, the attorney attributed it to overwhelming frustration, a tempestuous manifestation of Stone's anguish at the severity of his sentence. He insisted that Stone's faculties were clouded, his reasoning muddled by the weight of his circumstances. Reluctantly, the attorney divulged a troubling facet of Stone's life, a history marred by bouts of mental afflictions. Yet in a cruel twist of irony, Stone presently remained untethered from any therapeutic intervention, navigating the labyrinthine corridors of the penal system with a fractured psyche. Thus, Stone finds himself ensnared within the confining walls of the Colorado State Penitentiary in Cannon City, with the distant prospect of parole dangling tantalizingly out of reach until the far-off year of 2079. Esteban Carpio.
Step off.
Not guilty! I'm not guilty! I'm not guilty, Steven!
In a tale that resounds with shocking intensity, we delve into the enigmatic figure of Esteban Carpio, whose name became synonymous with a dramatic courtroom incident during his gripping arraignment hearing. His very being seemed engulfed in defiance and volatility as he launched venomous accusations toward the officers, necessitating the imposition of a mask to contain his malevolent intentions. His countenance displayed a disconcerting tapestry of scarlet hues, bearing witness to the tumultuous encounter that had ravaged his face. Swollen cheeks, forehead, and a bruised cranium testified to the perils he had endured. Inside the courtroom, Carpio's anguished family succumbed to inconsolable grief, their cries echoing off the marble walls as they accused the police of brutality. Providence Police Chief Dean M. Esserman stood resolute, countering that Carpio's injuries were not inflicted by his fellow officers, but resulted from an ill-fated leap from a third-floor interview room. The calamitous fall had left its mark on Carpio's tormented form. Rhode Island State Police Detective Christopher Zarella emerged as a pivotal figure in the arena of justice, shedding light on the intricate events that led to this moment of reckoning. Zarella revealed a series of blows that had struck Carpio's countenance with thunderous force, fracturing his delicate bones and leaving no room for doubt. Carpio found himself burdened with a cascade of charges: first-degree murder, a symphony of violence punctuated by a firearm, and the looming shadow of felony assault with a dangerous weapon. Yet in a defiant chorus that reverberated through the halls of justice, Carpio, undeterred, pleaded his innocence, his resounding cry of not guilty piercing the courtroom's fabric. Within the crucible of the trial, a tempestuous dance of legal minds ensued as Carpio's advocates sought to weave a narrative of madness. A delicate thread of insanity spun to unravel the charges that plagued their client's tormented soul. They beseeched the jury to find Carpio not guilty by reason of insanity, arguing that his actions were guided by a fractured mind. The jury, unyielding in their pursuit of truth, rejected this plea, delivering a damning verdict, guilty on all charges. In a desperate bid for redemption, Carpio clung to the tendrils of justice, appealing his conviction to a federal judge in 2017. He contended that his legal representation had failed him, crumbling under the weight of misplaced trust. Key legal arguments, once pillars of salvation, had disintegrated, lost within an imperfect system. He implored the court to recognize his mental afflictions, pleading for reconsideration through the lens of a shattered psyche. Alas, the judge dismissed the appeal, casting Carpio back into the abyss from which he had momentarily emerged. Carpio remains imprisoned within a cell, a captive of both concrete walls and his unyielding protestations of innocence. Kayla Mendoza.
I thought one mistake changed all of our lives. One stupid mistake. And I'm sorry.
Kayla Mendoza, a 20-year-old woman from Coral Springs, Florida, experienced a courtroom outburst during her sentencing hearing in May 2015. Mendoza had previously pleaded guilty to 2 counts of DUI manslaughter related to a tragic wrong-way crash to claim the lives of 2 women. During the hearing, Mendoza's attorney appealed to the judge to take into account her young age and lack of prior criminal history when determining her sentence. Mendoza herself also addressed the court, expressing genuine remorse for her actions and stating that she would never forget the victims. However, Mendoza's outburst occurred following the judge's announcement of a 24-year prison sentence. Rising to her feet, she passionately protested against what she perceived as an unjust and overly severe punishment. She voiced her belief that she was being unfairly treated and vehemently criticized the victims' families, accusing them of bullying. The outburst continued for several minutes until bailiffs intervened and escorted Mendoza out of the courtroom. Ultimately, she received the 24-year prison sentence that had been imposed. She is currently serving her sentence. Kayla Mendoza's courtroom outburst was a deeply unsettling moment within the context of a tragic case. It revealed her refusal to accept responsibility for her actions and her difficulty in acknowledging the profound suffering she had caused to the victims' families. Brian Nichols.
If anybody stands up, I am ordering the marshals to put you down immediately.
Brian Nichols stood trial for rape, but the course of events took a harrowing turn when he managed to escape custody, igniting a killing spree within the confines of the Fulton County Courthouse in Atlanta, Georgia on March 11, 2005. In his wake, 4 lives were tragically cut short, including the presiding judge, a court reporter, a Fulton County Sheriff's deputy, and later an ICE special agent. A large-scale manhunt was promptly launched, spanning 26 intense hours, until Nichols was finally apprehended. Nichols had been facing charges of raping a woman in a DeKalb County hotel room in 2004. Despite being deemed fit to stand trial, he orchestrated a daring escape while in custody, overpowering a female deputy as she changed clothes in a holding cell at the courthouse. Nichols seized her firearm and ruthlessly rendered her unconscious with a pistol whipping. Donning civilian attire, he then made his way to the courtroom where his trial was in progress. There, he mercilessly gunned down the judge, court reporter, and deputy before fleeing the premises. Subsequently, he carjacked a woman and proceeded to the residence of an ICE special agent, where he coldly claimed another life. After an exhaustive 26-hour manhunt, Nichols was eventually captured and discovered hiding in a field near the Atlanta airport. He faced charges of 4 counts of murder and 1 count of carjacking. Pleading not guilty by reason of insanity, he embarked on a legal battle within the courtroom. A jury, however, rendered a guilty verdict on all charges against Nichols, condemning him to a lifetime behind bars without the possibility of parole. Presently, he resides in the confines of the Georgia Diagnostic and Classification Prison in Jackson, Georgia. The courtroom killings perpetrated by Nichols sent shockwaves through society, leaving an indelible mark on the collective consciousness. This tragic incident underscored the urgent need for enhanced security measures within courthouses and cast a spotlight on the perils associated with solitary confinement. Nichols had spent 10 months in isolation before his escape, during which he reportedly exhibited signs of mental illness, yet received insufficient treatment. Additionally, the courtroom killings sparked a broader discourse on the topic of the death penalty. Nichols' defense team argued against his execution, citing his mental illness as grounds for leniency. Nevertheless, the jury deemed him mentally competent at the time of the killings and imposed the sentence of death. The events surrounding Brian Nichols' rampage serve as a stark reminder of the profound impact that can stem from lapses in security and mental health support within the criminal justice system. Jordan Fuss.
Sorry. I wish it was me. I did not deserve it. I did.
In Fort Lauderdale, Florida, a 22-year-old individual was found guilty of DUI manslaughter following a tragic crash in 2014 that took the life of a 6-year-old boy named Santiago Giraldo. As he entered the courtroom, the young man, visibly shaken, was accompanied by his family. It was revealed that his blood alcohol level at the time of the incident was 0.21, more than twice the legal limit. Additionally, he was driving at a speed exceeding 90 miles per hour on Sterling Road when his 2004 Infiniti G35 collided with another vehicle at the intersection of Davie Road, just before midnight on October 3, 2014. The prosecution sought the harshest possible sentence for this crime, while the defendant's attorney argued for a reduced sentence, claiming that his client had displayed immense remorse and even contemplated suicide. However, the prosecution countered this by pointing out that the defendant had admitted to using alcohol and marijuana since the crash, undermining the credibility of his remorse. Furthermore, in the court, the Giraldo family expressed their grief while the defense argued for a less severe punishment. Santiago's father took the stand and, with a stern gaze toward Jordan, said that while he couldn't forgive him, he hoped God would. The impact of losing his son was so profound that it felt like his own life had been taken as well. During the trial, Jordan could be seen tearfully apologizing to the victim's family. And finally, the verdict was delivered, sentencing Jordan to 14 years in prison, which was the minimum allowed under Florida's criminal punishment code. Martin, visibly emotional, continued to cry upon hearing his fate, suggesting that he may have finally realized the gravity of his actions. And that's all for now. Thank you for watching this video and joining us on this exciting journey. Also remember to subscribe to the channel and click the notification bell icon so you never miss an update from us.